All right. So are you ready to do the actual show?
Yeah, we should do the show. We're not talking about Final Fantasy XIV anymore. We're talking about the World of Warcraft. It's a
Yeah,
different
there
game.
are no good Final Fantasy 14 podcasts. Great. This isn't one of them either.
And we're the best one so far this week. Great.
All right.
I feel bad. I feel like I just threw shade at a lot of people I don't know and are not part of our community.
True. All right. So I never count down. Welcome to Azeroth Roundtable, episode 318. It's Friday night. It's later than normal. Does that mean it's after dark? I don't know. We'll find out. But I'm Ben Baumhofer, and with me, as always, is John Jagger. How's it going, John?
Hello, Ben.
Oh,
This
we're doing
is
this
Azeroth Roundtable. After dark.
now. After dark.
After dark.
It's dark, and
We're recording
after it.
later because I needed a little nap.
He was cranky, so he took a little nappy poo.
Yeah, the John you think is so salty all the time is a well-rested John. You wouldn't have wanted to know what would have happened otherwise.
That's a little weird, actually.
Hi, Ben. It's just the two of us tonight.
It is. You know why? Because I wasn't sure when you'd be available.
Oh, well, I was hoping you'd find somebody so that I didn't have to show up at all.
Well, considering I didn't find out until yesterday that, in fact, yes, we were going to do it Friday night. So I'm like, I can't really plan around
Yeah,
that.
that's true. It's all on me. It's all my fault for everything today. I played Top Golf for the first time ever.
Oh, how'd that go?
It was fun. It was a good time. It turns out I'm still okay at golfing, sorta.
Were you top?
I was top. I won every time.
Oh, wow. Against who? Anyone I know?
My coworkers.
So some people I know.
Yes, at least one person you know.
Two people I know?
There was another person there you knew, but he did not play because he has rib problems at the moment.
And as we know, Top Golf is a very rib-intensive game.
Well, yeah, it's golfing. You want to bend at the waist when you got a shitty rib? You're golfing.
Are we not talking about the video game with the rollerball?
No. It's
I
actual.
thought we were talking about... Okay.
It's actual golf.
Okay, I thought we were talking about the stand-up video game that is in bars all the time.
Oh no, this is
That's Golden Tee. What am I thinking of?
You go to a driving range and you hit actual golf balls.
Okay, yeah, that would that make a big difference actually.
I was like, man, Ben's real harsh on people with injuries. What? You can't do that with a hurt rib? Lazy bastard.
Do you remember way back when I was like, hey, we should go to the golf range or the driving range sometime? I'm like, yeah, we should. And then we never did.
Yep. That was the end of that. It was a decision. It seemed good at the time, and never again. But it was fun. The problem is, my body was like, the hell are we doing? What? You haven't done this.
We're outside.
You haven't done this in years, and now you are going to be punished thoroughly. And I am. I'm already bruised somehow. And here's the funny thing. As I did it, none of it felt like, oh, this is really, taxing me in any way. I was just up there. I was like, that's fine. Turns out golf is a sport that's great for me because I can do it in my current physical status. This is fantastic.
Like bowling.
This is a sport designed for my current physical form. I don't have to transform into anything to be able to be good at it. Exactly, like bowling. But also like bowling, it makes you extremely aware of your body probably a few hours after you're done. And so I got home and my arms hurt really bad. And
Surprisingly, also yoga.
yeah, it's like that. It's like yoga. Yoga will do that to you. So, I don't know. So, I'm having an okay night, but yeah, I was very sleepy. And so, I came home and I was like, well, if it's just the two of us, Ben, what if we recorded later?
And I said, okay.
Because he's a good friend and he knew I needed the rest. But I did wake up earlier than intended because I thought somebody was knocking on my door. And then I thought I had overslept and you thought I was dead. And you were wordly checking on me, but at a polite decibel.
You thought that was me? knocking on your door?
I thought it was.
That was not me.
I know. Well, I assumed they went away. I didn't answer the door.
Yeah, if you hadn't answered, I would have kept knocking if it was me.
Right.
Because, John, I care.
Oh, look at that. That's nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, Ben, that's a good check-in with our lives.
Yeah. Well,
In
your
the-
life.
In the
really.
real world. Okay,
Yeah.
Ben, what did you do today?
I went to work. I went into the office. It's normally my work from home day on Fridays because I specifically chose Fridays because we do a show every Friday night.
Uh-huh.
And I got to go to a 2-hour meeting.
Okay.
That was very productive.
Great. Did it
There we go.
require you to take a nap at a later time or anything
No,
like that? Okay.
no. In fact, I am drinking coffee though. But the good news is because you took a nap, I was able to watch a good chunk of Travis Willingham's Yeehaw Game Ranch.
There you go. Watching shows, watching streams, getting it
Exactly.
done.
Exactly. But if you want to talk about some other stuff that happened this week overall, I am a transformed and changed man, John.
Oh. Congratulations.
Wednesday night, we went into Raid,
Uh-huh.
and we walked out as champions. Because we have defeated Jaina Proudmore.
Take that, Jaina.
And it was one of the most narrowly won Raid experiences we've ever had. So, everyone's in there. We're doing it. It's going great. It's our second pull. It's like, woo, we get past the boat part because it's the easiest thing in the world. And then it's the second part, and it's like, oh crap, we just need to be calm. And we're being calm, and it's working. And then all of a sudden, it's like, move over to this barrel. We're going to blow this one up. It's like, okay, cool. And then it's like, move over to this one. Oh, we got to destroy a wall, guys. So then we destroyed a wall. And then we went and got into Thanos, and it's like, oh, it's on phase 4. So then we're on phase 4. We're going around, and we're like, what's going to happen? And then people started dropping just left and right. People are frozen. We're trying to break everybody out. Suddenly, it's me, 2 frozen tanks, Bro, and maybe someone else. That was a loud cough. And
Turns
You forgot
out
to mute?
I have to mute in 2 places.
that's okay.
That
But
cough
anyways.
wasn't heard by the stream. It won't be on the
Oh.
video show, but
Oh,
it'll be
that's
on
a
the
special
audio
treat
show.
for the podcast.
I had to pick a favorite, and I apparently picked the video show. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
All right. So, we had Jaina standing between 3 frozen people. I was doing my spinny kick, trying to get everybody out. There was another healer up, probably Caesary. And then all of a sudden, her mirror image shot an ice beam and froze me and killed me to death. And then at that point, everybody else is frozen, and all that's left is Ro. She's got 2% left on her health before she teleports out of there. And we're all like, go Ro! And he's all like, pew, 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 pew. And then all of a sudden, a bunch of people got achievements, and I got my pop-up window for, hey, do you want extra loot? And it was really anticlimactic, because, like, there's no cutscene, nothing happens. It's just all like, she's all like, peace, and just leaves. And then the Thanos says stuff that everyone is like, we did it! And I'm just like, what the hell's going on? Because it was just so anticlimactic. But
Then
we
the
beat it.
victory was the friends we made along the way.
Yes. Yeah, that's what happens.
Well,
It's that
congratulations to you. Sounds like you're very lucky to have Ro on your team.
victory. Yes. Well, I mean, we say that every week.
But yeah, good job. You did it. You beat the
Yeah.
video game.
Yeah. And then instead of ending on a really high point of, hey, we killed Jaina, we had about an hour left in raid. Then we went into the Crucible of Storms and ended on a low point for the raids.
That is the nature of raiding. It is a eventual victory followed by most assuredly more constant
Yes,
defeat.
a crushing defeat.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I was actually pretty happy about that. We beat her before. I mean, granted, we're never going to get ahead of the curve because we're not doing heroic, and all the people are like, oh, it's not real rating. I don't care what you think. It's real rating to me. And our little team, our friends and family team, we did a good job.
Well, good job. Congratulations to the Furt raid.
I will convey that congratulations on Sunday.
All right. When you are going to be continuing to bang your head against a wall, or are you doing a reset of some kind?
No, we're gonna continually bang our head against the wall probably, but I mean it's a brand new boss, so progression.
Okay.
And we didn't do horrible. We didn't do well, but we didn't do horrible.
Okay. Well, that means there's room to grow into it, and
Exactly. Yeah, I'm not worried about it. It's just one of those things where we'll get the dance down and hopefully eventually win.
So, I have no good transition for this, but I had a question that popped into my head, World of Warcraft related, today as I was
Okay.
driving home. And I wanted to ask you, because I was like, hey, we do a show where we talk about World of Warcraft.
We do.
I know somebody I want to ask this question to, and it's you.
Oh.
So, World of Warcraft, you see a lot of the lists online. That is, these are the top 10 most influential games of all time. And sometimes you click them and you read them and you're like, okay. And sometimes you don't. But actually, World of Warcraft ends up on a lot of these lists. And usually, if I'm being honest, if it's not on the list, there's a part of me that thinks this list is incomplete.
Yeah.
Because I kind of feel like, for as long and as strange as this trip has been, when you get right down to what World of Warcraft was doing back in the days where it was really taking off and getting started and kind of changing what MMOs were going to be, it not only changed what MMOs would be by, in some ways, kind of killing the genre to a large degree, or at least leaving very little room for people to come in and hang out. But it also changed the way a lot of games in general worked. And especially as World of Warcraft evolved and picked up kind of new features and new enhancements, we started to see a lot of those leak into other video games and inform other video games. And I'm sure that there are going to be some of these as we talk about them, that World of Warcraft was not, in fact, the first person to do it. So I want to put a big disclaimer at the top of this discussion. This is us discussing science very unscientifically. We have not done the proper research for this, but we're going to talk about it anyway.
Okay.
So that said, disclaimer out there that we are non-scientists. Ben, what do you think has been some of the influences that you feel the strongest from World of Warcraft that has kind of leaked into gaming since it came out?
I've definitely got two that I want to throw out before you say anything. So the first one, I know that you said that you're worried about us being scientists, non-scientists, whatever, and everything like that. This one is for sure started in World of Warcraft first. So I don't know if you know about this thing called pet battling in World of Warcraft. But Nintendo liked it so much, they actually created an entire game series about it called Pokemon or Pocket Monster.
They definitely perfected it there.
Yeah. And no, anyway, I'm sorry, I had to throw that out because I wanted to be funny after you gave the disclaimer. But anyways,
just immediately throw one out that was very clearly not that way.
Exactly. No, but seriously though, the color-coded loot system is the big one. I don't know if it actually came from Diablo first or if it came from somewhere other than Blizzard first, but color-coded loot is everywhere, even to the extent of it's the same colors.
Most of the time, yeah. I color-coded loot definitely existed before World of Warcraft, but World of Warcraft is the game that came out and said, hey, green, blue, purple, orange, red, maybe.
You're on your own.
I mean, it does some alterations, but World of Warcraft was by far the one that was like, this is what we're using.
Yeah, it basically it hits at that point of like basically this game has grown to be so popular, we're pulling it from here. And you know what? That's probably what a lot of this discussion is going to be, because right in there in the chat room, WoW took color coding and most everything else from EverQuest, but people don't know it from EverQuest.
Yeah, the EverQuest color coding is not what has been kind of uniformly adapted. It
Mm-hmm.
And also EverQuest came after games like Diablo, which had the original Diablo, I can't remember if it was just all yellow at the time. I don't think it was. I think the text inside the window still would be a different color. But Diablo 2 definitely had it. I mean, it's something that has existed in the periphery, you know, probably even outside of Blizzard games. But I think the big credit for World of Warcraft was putting the stamp on it that is, like, this is what you use. And it's kind of funny because every now and then, once in a blue moon, a game comes along that doesn't adhere to it and ruins it for everybody. Like, you go,
Like, oh man, I
wait.
got a purple. Wait, why is this crap?
They're like, no, you need to replace that with a green. And you just want to throw something. You're like, what? The green is better than the purple? No.
I mean, we're not talking about new expansions either.
I can't live in this world. It's unacceptable.
Yeah, but no, that was the first thing that came to mind, actually. Definitely. I mean, you see that in shooters. You see that in any loot-driven game for the most part. I mean, Torchlight had it. Destiny has it. Anthem has it. John, do you know, does Final Fantasy XIV use that same color loot system? I mean,
I don't
played enough
know.
to actually get good gear.
I'm such a scrub right now that everything I have is the grayest of gray gear that ever grayed. It's I'm sure it's there, but I haven't seen anything good yet. Right now I'm fresh off a wagon. I don't have anything. I picked
Except
some
for fond memories.
I picked some vegetables up out of a stadium. I'm not a hero of caliber yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I mean, I'm sure it's there.
Yeah. What's one of the things that I mean, obviously you thought of this topic. What's one of the things that popped to mind?
The golden exclamation mark
Yeah.
has become, again, there have probably been games where people who want to give you a quest have been denoted, but
not necessarily though, because sorry, I'm totally interrupting you. Go ahead.
So if you look again, EverQuest is a good example because, you know, EverQuest was out before World of Warcraft. In fact, there was a lot of actual work between the EverQuest team and the World of Warcraft team in their early days. If you go back and you look at early EverQuest expansion manuals, if you still have them, if you do,
Which I'm sure you do.
congratulations, you are winning at this thing called life. Good for you. But if you go back and you look at those books, in the special thanks for EverQuest, they thank Blizzard and the World of Warcraft team. Even before
awesome.
World of Warcraft existed, they were thanking them. I have a feeling it has to do with help with online because Battle.net already existed at that point. And, you know, to have a secure online structure was probably a bit of a big deal. But there was a lot of back and forth thank yous early on in the game's histories. And in EverQuest, if you wanted to quest, you went up to people and you typed out hail, or eventually there were shortcuts and you could just be like H. But, you know, in theory, if you were doing it the quote unquote correct way, you went up to somebody and you went, hail! And they went, hail to you! I'm sitting by this tree, and it's a lovely day, and I'm having soup, but I can't find my spoon. And then as they talked, spoon would be in brackets. And you'd be like, what spoon? And they'd be like, I'm glad you asked. I had a spoon, and I need it found immediately. And then you'd be like, what found? Because you had to, like, phrase it in the form of a question. Maybe? I felt I had to, but none of the questions ever made sense. There was nothing natural about it, so it was always like, what found? Who found? Where found? And then they would eventually...
Why found?
Yeah, they'd eventually go, yes, I lost it over by the park. And, oh, okay, and then you'd go over there and you'd do it. And that was questing. There was no quest log that it got dropped into to track your progress. And then if you were over by that park and you happened to find a spoon, you'd have to remember, either because you wrote it down or had a very good memory, oh, right, there was a guy who really wanted a spoon. I'm going to go and take it to him. And then you're like, hey, dude, trade, spoon, you give it to him. And if you got the guy wrong, it just gives you the spoon back and is like, he's not interested in that item. But if he is, he takes it and then he's like, that's great. Oh, you saved my life. I can eat my soup now. And good job. And you feel good about yourself. And maybe
But you don't get a reward or anything,
well,
right?
you would get like coins sometimes, and you could sometimes get items, but it was this really informal system that has some elements that I like and appreciate, but it's definitely an old, outdated system. And World of Warcraft stepped in and said, okay, what if somebody had a quest for you, they just had an exclamation mark over their head? And we could use that exclamation mark, this kind of went over time, to denote things like, is it a daily quest? Are they too low of a level? Are they not in a place where this quest is achievable? Are they currently on a quest that they don't have the requirements for? Have they completed a quest that they do have the requirements for that can be turned in? All from either an exclamation mark or question mark over somebody's head, which is kind of an ingenious system, and one that as soon as it was there and prominent in EverQuest, everyone did. And so many people just did the exclamation mark because that's what it means. You know, in WoW, it was very much a, no, this is a quest and you're doing it and all of that. But after that, it was universal. This person has something they want you to do.
Yeah. Have you ever watched Epic NPC Man on YouTube?
No.
It's got some really funny but really stupid stuff. Basically, it's the idea of an NPC's life and what they see just standing around in MMOs. And there's this one episode where like the onion seller and then the blacksmith both have, you know, exclamation points, and one of them's like, "Oh, I see you have a quest now." It's like, "Oh yeah, my quest is bigger than yours," and they have a whole argument over it and everything. And but it falls back on that tradition where it's not anything that's specifically World of Warcraft, but it is like just, you know, RPGs, MMOs, everything just in general. And I think you're right. That language really grew, or at least definitely came to popularity from World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the little bit that I played of EverQuest, I never saw a quest. It was just run around and kill stuff. That's how you level.
Well, yeah, that's a lot of how you level, unless you talk to people. You have to talk to the right people.
When I was playing Final Fantasy XI, Take a Shot, Wicked, the same deal. You had to just kind of remember who you had to go to, who to talk to, and everything. There was no sort of indicator whatsoever of, you know, who had the quest. I don't even know if I had a quest log in that game. I don't remember. It's been forever. But again, it's the same deal of, where do I find a quest? You know, what's going on here? There's someone that specifically shout out, like, "Adventurer, come over here!" And you know, it helped standardize a lot of stuff for everybody. I'm glad.
I'll give you one that I think was very effective and probably very important for a while, but I think ultimately should have been discouraged instead of adopted, and that is the two-faction system.
Yeah.
We both know I'm at a place where I'm a little disenfranchised with that as a story element for World of Warcraft. But in general, I get why they did it for this game. But because of the popularity and how big World of Warcraft was, it became the system for every game.
Can you imagine how great WildStar could have been if they didn't have two factions?
You know, I don't know if that's what sank WildStar, but I
what
definitely
sank it.
don't think it needed it. I think it would have been helped by, you know, this is going to turn into a lot of talking about EverQuest, but it's a good capture point because you have the thing that existed before, you have the thing that changed it, and then you have the thing that came after it. And having the two faction in kind of a large scale MMO is an interesting way to explain PvP, to kind of, you know, put faction pride on there. And it wasn't it was definitely not the first one to do it, because I think Dark Age of Camelot had a lot of faction-based stuff in it.
From what I remember.
But again, we're talking about popularized and therefore gets a lot of credit for it. But EverQuest, people just had opinions of you. Like, and you may have had a natural alignment towards that. Like, if you played a Dark Elf, generally evil races liked you and generally good races hated you. But you could go out into the world and you could prove yourself and you could become well liked by the good races and hated by the evil races. You could really dynamically shift that.
You could twist yourself.
Yeah, exactly. But what's fascinating is that even EverQuest, who built this very dynamic world and this very dynamic faction system, even they spun around in EverQuest 2 and said, two-faction system. You know, you've got the evil side on Freeport, you've got the good side on Kinos. Go. It was like, all right, well, even they aren't standing by their old structure, which honestly I think was really cool. I think the idea that, and I don't know if it would ever work in World of Warcraft, but I think the idea of my character isn't Horde, my character isn't Alliance, my character is just a person in the world that does things and takes actions, and how the world views them is based entirely on those merits, is a cool thing. I think that's actually cooler than just saying, well, you wanted to be a Tauren, you're Horde.
So, let's say they implement that for the next expansion, that you're a person of the world, and you decide not to be just Horde or just Alliance. So you go through, you're playing the game. Guess what? Double faction rep grinds for you to get both sides. I can see an argument against that part, but...
Well, sure. When filtered through the lens of how things work today,
I know.
I can definitely see some nightmares on that.
So I'm going to take something that you said and kind of expand even further on it. So how you're talking about the quests and the exclamation point and question mark and everything like that. The quests themselves, I think, are definitely so much more of a staple in definitely MMOs after World of Warcraft. Because I remember from what I played of EverQuest, I only got to like level 10 or 11 or something like that. Then of course in Final Fantasy, again, basically you leveled by just going out and killing stuff. You know, like there's a whole, website, podcast, everything for World of Warcraft for that style of leveling now. And it's something that's, it's kind of an old school look at it. EverQuest, now you got me saying that all the time. World of Warcraft came out, and all of a sudden, to level, you're doing quests. You get way more XP for doing a quest than just killing crap. You can potentially just kill boars all day.
Yeah.
But you've got storyline to go through. You've got epic stories in zones, plots that actually, kind of cover great distances. A lot of really cool cinematic bits. The only reason why I wish that I was in vanilla and played an Alliance is so I could see that whole Onyxia quest line, because it sounds really cool and the little bits that I've seen on YouTube look really neat. But I mean, since then there's other other cool storylines. Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King, I think really helped kind of revitalize how Blizzard told stories in zones. And ever since that, every MMO that's been coming out, except for, I haven't done a lot with Elder Scrolls, but if Elder Scrolls is like Elder Scrolls games, there's a whole bunch of story, but you just kind of need to find it. Leveling is quest-based as opposed to just going around and killing stuff based.
Yeah, and that definitely changed. I mean, you look at Make Love Not Warcraft from South Park, and they make the joke of, what if we just killed boars? Well, yeah, but that was literally the experience of leveling up in the early days of EverQuest. What if I just went out and fought fire beetles? That'll carry me through to this point, and then I can do this. And it was more like occasionally you supplemented your killing of things over and over again with a quest here and there, or like, oh, I'm this level, now I can go do this quest, and then I can go back to leveling by killing stuff. And so yeah, it's interesting how WoW really took that and shook it up. And I don't know if that was them at the time going, we've got this really great questing system, let's really lean on it and make that the crux of the game. But yeah, I mean, I can remember the first time I started playing WoW, kind of going through some of the initial quests and being like, okay, it's a lot of talking to people in this game. Mm-hmm. Like, they're like, go up this tree, because I was a night elf at first. Go up this tree, talk to this person. Okay, hello, ma'am. Hi, you're going to be this, and da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, okay.
Level 2.
Right, it's just a lot of talking, and I do think in there, there was like a kill this many things, and I was like, okay, I'm familiar with this. But then it was this big string of like talking, and I was like, I'm getting levels from this, what's going on? And then I was like, okay, at what point do I just start killing those panthers again? Because at some point, this game is just me killing panthers, right? Mm-hmm. And the questing seemed to never end, and it just kept carrying me from zone to zone. And I was like, maybe this game's different. Weird.
Amazing.
Yeah, and that's when it started to piece together, and you start to go, maybe they're really onto something different here. Maybe this is something that's really, really cool.
And then they took the drudgery of killing those boars and just turned it into a quest. So you would still kill the boars, just not hundreds and thousands of them. You just like maybe 10.
Yeah, kill them, but not a ridiculous amount. Just some. Just a little killing.
Yeah, and get some hooves.
Yeah, get some hooves.
But not all of them have them.
No,
only the weird mutated ones
for some reason. You don't want to see what World of Warcraft looks like if not cartoony. Bunch of, like, hoofless boars just walking around in agony.
As soon as they started saying, hey, I need a pristine one, I'm like, okay, this makes more sense.
Yeah, somebody, like, really, okay, well, the boar is like very violent.
Enlarged heart or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. Non-cracked tooth or something. Yeah, much better that way. Much better.
I still think my character would use a little more care when fighting it, though. Like, there's still, like...
Don't attack the feet.
They're like, we need pristine hooves, and then my character's just out there, just swinging at it and doing nothing but hitting its feet.
Go for the head.
Yeah. That's what the elk says as I was cutting into it. You should have gone for the head. And then it just holds up its mangled little hooves, and it's just like, and then it snaps for some reason.
I won by tripping one of them. Unfortunately, it broke its legs. I had a friend behind it. I just went over shove. Just on its side.
Yeah, I mean, if we were in the World of Warcraft and able to do really stupid, violent things...
We'd play tricks on antelope.
First of all, this game wouldn't be nearly as good. Can you imagine a game where instead of just right-clicking and doing your abilities and then the animal just goes, bah, and falls over, and you're like, now I right-click and loot it? If they were like, we want those hooves, and you had to be like, grab the leg... You're just like, I hate this. I'm not going to do the quest anymore. I don't want to do it. It's too real.
Yeah, that's... I might get yelled at for this, but that's why Nevermore didn't play Tomb Raider. She went to hunt her first deer. She's like, okay, I'm done. Just... Yeah, she shot the deer, and she's like...
So what you're saying is that she... killed the deer and then didn't honor the noble creature's sacrifice by doing anything with it. She just wanton slaughter on deer.
No, she wounded the deer and then it just didn't work.
Oh, so she just left a suffering deer out in the world?
Pretty much.
Great.
Yeah. But no, I mean, that would be very, very interesting. And I mean, some games have things put in there for that. Like, Red Dead Redemption is... I mean, there's no mini game to butcher, thank God. But
no, but they're going to make you watch it.
Yes.
The camera now, they're like, all right, focus. They show it enough to where you're like, I'm not gonna do this, but I almost think I could if I wanted to.
Yeah, there's that. There's that. Um, something else, and I mean, I could be wrong on this one, like very, very wrong, but it's something that I noticed, especially in Wrath of the Lich King, is NPCs interacting with each other, like wildlife out in the world, like specifically like the Howling Fjord wolves going after the buffalo-y things, whatever the shoal tusks or something.
Shovel tusks.
Shovel tusk. Yes, thank you. I couldn't remember the word shovel. But yeah, like the wolves going after them and like kind of fight each other and stuff. It's something that I'm like, okay, this is pretty nifty. I quite enjoy the fact that it feels more like I'm living in a real world than, you know, just I'm kind of out and everything's just like, well, here's the wolves, they hang out over here, and you know, there's the shovel tusk, they hang out over there. You know, it's like walking into a junior high cafeteria or something. Everybody's in their own little corners.
Yeah.
They're actually interacting.
One of the things that I think is interesting is that I think we've focused very much on a lot of visual things. You know, the color of this and how things worked mechanically within that. But I think a lot of the stuff that WoW was influential on was user interface and control. Like, it kind of after World of Warcraft, it never really felt like a huge learning setup to sit down in front of a new MMO unless they tried to change it on you, and then you were Old Republic does this, where you sit down and you sit there and you go, the hell is going on with this
wrong
interface? And you're like,
but
okay,
it's
hold
all
on.
modular.
Let me go to the interface setup, and it's like, hey, there's presets, and there's one called Legacy, and you click it, and it just turns into World of Warcraft, and you're like, okay, now it looks right. This is how it was supposed to look. I got it. And I find that very funny.
Well, and the weird thing is that, I mean, something that you told me forever ago, that Blizzard even said, hey, we're not great with UI. So that's one of the reasons why there's, you know, the ability to add mods to it and everything. So the traditional UI that's in WoW is just, they're kind of like thrown together thing. They're like, we're not good at this, so have at it if you want. But then it turned into something that is just kind of everywhere.
Yeah, it was the foundation. They took it far enough to put the game out, get it in people's hands, and make everybody go, this could be better. And then they gave people the tools to make it better and put it in the game, and they adapted what they wanted when they wanted it, and they kind of piecemeal chose, oh, well, we'll make it better here and we'll make it better there. But the end result is a UI that is uniformly pretty easy and good to use. There was a time, it was right when I got my new PC. I didn't want to go and download all my mods yet.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just booted up the game and got in it and didn't really worry about UI or have any problems whatsoever until I had to open my bags. That was the one I was like, oh shit, I gotta get mods. That's the one part of the UI that remains, and I know you're a multi-bag person, you're not a one-bag user, but as soon as I clicked the bag and a small little inventory window opened that was totally full, I was like, oh no, I need to go download some new programs from my computer right away, because this game has officially become unplayable. Forget the fact I've been playing it successfully for several hours now. As soon as that little window popped up, I was like, I can't play anymore. I gotta go download some clients and make something happen.
You know, I don't know what it is about the whole like separate bags or something like that. I have no idea why I haven't switched over to a one bag. It's weird. I will give you that it's weird. It's something's broken in my head of, I just want separate bags. You know, it's like my very left bag, that's where I put my important stuff. And I get that if I have one giant screen, I can still sort it in ways that I want. But to me, just keeping it all separated, I know exactly where everything is. I know where things are going and stuff. And it's not like it's an OCD thing either. It's just, I just prefer having separate bags.
All right, well,
I'm weird.
I don't think you are, because right now the chat room is almost universally, nobody's come up. Well, Allura kind of said indeed when I was saying like, nope, I needed this.
No, Indeed was the discussion above it.
Oh, great.
Don't.
So
Yeah,
right
don't read
now,
it.
everyone's like, no, I use multiple bags. I use multiple bags. Obviously, there has to be some reason why Blizzard hasn't said uniformly, we're going to one bag. Like, they still leave it that way. I think there's maybe more of you out there than you might think. But I think maybe it's a case of some people prefer it, some people don't care. But I think for the people that are like, no, I have to have just one inventory window and one bag, like, we feel very strongly about that. Like,
Yeah.
kind of like I said, I felt like the game was unplayable as soon as I clicked that and one little bag opened. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I can't do this right now. I need to go get that mod right away.
You know what it kind of reminds me of? It's like, okay, so real world comparison here. Like you're throwing everything in just one giant like carry-all bag, and you have to like dig through everything in order to see what's in there. Whereas I have like my bag of holding, in this pocket I know has this, and then this pocket has this, and this one has this, and I know where to find everything. Like, to me, I guess it's because I feel like I know where everything is better just because I do sort it, as opposed to it's one big window and, oh, well, this section is probably going to be where the new stuff pops in and everything like that. Whereas right now, like if I'm looking for a new piece of gear that dropped, I just automatically open my my Blizzard default 18 or 20 bag or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I don't know.
See, and that's the thing is when I look at the one bag, I know exactly where something is in there. Like, without any manual sorting. Like, there are sorting rules on the one bag, and as a result, when I pick it up, it goes in there and it goes where I expect it. It's like, okay, well, it's a consumable. I know it'll be right here. Okay, well, it's a piece of gear. I know it'll be right here. Okay, well, it's a piece of junk. It'll be down at the bottom with the rest of the junk. You know, like, I know exactly where it organizes to, and as a result, I'm just like, oh, no, it's easy to find, easy to get, easy to take care of.
I've seen that too, because Nevermore uses a bag add-on and she loves hers, and you know it does break it out into different things. It's just, yeah, I don't know, kind of weird.
Yeah. Yeah, that one's a big divider. I wish Blizzard would put in a default UI element for one bag as an option that we could just toggle it.
Yeah, like how you can turn on or off your action bars or something like that.
Yeah, because actually I use, I don't remember which one I use. I don't remember if it's Bagnon or a different one, but there's one of them that has, I don't know how it happened. I don't know what the issue is, but so it has auto sorting in it, like I just said. For my main character, it operates exactly the way I want it to. For an alt, if I hit the cleanup, it does the reverse of what I expect it to do. So what I have had to do is enable character-specific rules that is reversed for every alt I play and standard for my main. I have no idea how this happened. I have no idea what the fix is. And the weirdest part, I thought when I got to the new PC and all of that, and none of it was going to be saved or would carry over, I still have the same problem. I have no idea why. So I'm like, I don't like this, because sometimes it will forget the character specific and I'll have to redo it. Anyway, it doesn't work perfectly, and that bothers me. And so I kind of feel like if there was a Blizzard one, it would work great, and I could just live with that.
You know, that's something that's, I don't know if, I mean, this is kind of jumping off the topic anyway, but something that I really appreciate for Blizzard is with their UI, if there is an add-on that is like incredibly popular, that everybody really enjoys using and everything like that, they look at it and really try to get it, you know, somehow integrated into the standard UI. Like the ground raid markers that you can put out, that used to be something entirely different, and then Blizzard's like, no, you can't do that anymore. By the way, here's a different version that is kind of dumbed down, that doesn't break the game. Have fun. You know, that like Quest Helper, when they added all that stuff into the game, which entirely changed how questing works, which I am very interested to see how the classic WoW people are going to deal with that if they've never done it before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's gonna be that's gonna be interesting. Like, that's the funny thing is, as we've gotten closer and closer to Classic, my interest in going back there has actually lessened for some reason. There was a part of me that was hyped up enough to where I was like, yeah, sign in and go check out the old zones and all that. Now I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'll get to it, but I'm not really looking forward to it.
Basically, make an orc and go to Barrens and then just call it a day.
Yeah, like, yep, it's still here. Doesn't have a big canyon in it. All right. But for the people that didn't, I mean, that's a thing that I can feel a little, jaded isn't the right word, but, you know, if you're excited about Classic, I hope you don't hear that and go, oh, it sucks. Why are they poo-pooing the thing I'm excited for? I think it's totally fine to be excited for that, especially if you haven't experienced it, because that's the thing I want to see. I want to see streams of people going into Classic who started in Cataclysm. That's after
the perfect time,
all this shit was figured out and all this shit was different, and going in there,
especially the talent trees. Like I would love to see their actual like, oh, I get something every level, cool.
That I'm gonna be jealous of them on, because you want to talk about something that WoW like did an amazing job of right out of the early gate and like has not done well, especially recently, is making every level feel significant. I mean, I thought Legion every level felt shitty. Boy, I didn't even know what was coming in Battle for Azeroth, because boy, leveling couldn't come with more of a shrug emoji. You leveled up. Brr. Like, nobody cares. And that feels awful. And the one thing that feels so great about Classic is it's like, oh, you leveled? Here's your new spells. You have to go. You have to go train them, and sometimes it's just the level 2, slightly stronger version. But there's something there.
Yeah, that's the difference.
And here's the talent point. Go ahead and put it in there. Like, look, there's a reason they got away from it. There are downsides to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but there is the whole, hey, there is something new, which is cool. But so okay, something that I am kind of interested in seeing as well is just how the economy works in Classic WoW, because I hopped in during the Isle of Kildonis when dailies were a thing.
Yeah.
Before that, there were no dailies. There was not easy ways to make money. So just seeing someone be like, I got my first gold, like that's a big deal. You don't get that after, 2 days of playing the game anymore.
Right. I'm curious what all this knowledge about how WoW works changes that economy, because I can remember in WoW Classic, there were times where it was like I had to pick which spells I wanted to increase. Like, because like we said, sometimes what you got for leveling was you got Fireball rank 3. You have to go buy that, and you're like, how much is that? And they're like, 15 silver. You're like, I don't have 15 silver. I'm not even close to having 15 silver.
I just spent 2 silver just to get back here.
Right. Or you'd look at it and you'd go, wait a minute, you want how much money for this? It's going to cost me 60 silver to train all my spells. I have to pick which spell I'm going to upgrade. Which of these do I not think I'm going to use? And it wasn't uncommon to unlock more powerful versions or new spells and have to go to the trainer and have to make a strong decision of, I'm going to have to sit on this one for a while because I simply can't afford it. And the amounts that you couldn't afford at the time were laughable. It was the stupidest amount. Because again, we're talking about silver that you couldn't afford. Like, and not a lot of silver, a little bit of silver.
Like, I have 3 spells and it's 5 silver each. That's 15 silver. Woohoo. I might be sitting on 7.
Yeah. It is a different world. And as a result, it's actually kind of funny because it made death more impactful. Because you had repair costs when you died. And so you actually were upset when you died because it was like, shit, this is taking so much money away from me. It never, I will say this. I'm remembering that slightly different. I don't know if there was ever a time where I was like, good God. You could find a place early on in the game where it was like, I can't afford it. But
Yeah.
generally speaking, I don't think there was ever a time where I was like, I died again. I'll never have money ever. But it was a bigger deal.
Well, the thing is, too, is you didn't go places that were insanely difficult. Unless you had a friend who said, hey, you should probably quest in this zone instead, and then took you through Desolus because you didn't know what was going on, and you just kind of went, and you didn't know how the world worked yet, so you're like, I don't know how to get back to anywhere to train. Because that happened back in Burning Crusade times.
Uh-huh. I wanted to
I
show
figured
you
out
the world. Yeah. I wanted,
Shining, shimmering, and
I
splendid.
wanted to be Aladdin to your Jasmine, Ben.
Well, I appreciate it.
But
I
instead
learned
of
not to
taking you
trust
back home, I left you on like a pyramid somewhere.
Yeah.
But it is true, and the chat's kind of running on this as well, is people are more savvy now. There is more knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like instead of how it was back then, which was a bunch of us going in with no idea what the hell to do and not great resources telling us exactly how to do it, they will instead be going in with at least some idea of what to do, and I think they will make more money going that way.
Both gathering professions.
Yeah. So it will be interesting, but also, there's a chance that everybody shows up and goes, I know the secret to gathering professions, and nobody's crafting anything.
Yep.
And so who knows? I think it'll be a bit of a Wild West. I don't want to play Classic because I already did it. The stories we've just told tell you that tale enough. But I do think it's going to be fascinating to watch from the outside.
Yeah, I think so. And a lot of it comes from the people who only know WoW from actually, playing Cataclysm Forward. Because, I mean, I want to say that's when the talent choices changed to basically, you have the 3 per, 15 or whatever. But even more so, do you think that gold sellers will actually come back? Because if you think about it, you can't have a WoW token in Classic WoW. Because what are you going to do? Buy a WoW token and get, 3 gold?
I think they could, but I think it will come in the form of other players. Jeez, do you think there's going to be a cross-currency sort of thing? Buy me a WoW token on this, and I'll log in the game and give you this?
That can't.
And then Blizzard gets inundated with reports. So-and-so said on Classic that they do this, and then they traded me, but I didn't get any gold.
It's possible.
It could happen. That's what I'm saying. It's the Wild West. Who knows? People are going to come in and try and make money and try and take advantage. And, if I could have my... If I could have my live World of Warcraft subscription funded by people in Classic needing money and I could help them, because they can't, you're right, they can't buy a WoW token for the Classic, but if I'm good at making money in WoW Classic and I have an abundance to share with people and they have a desire, I could certainly say, go spend real money totally legally here in the base WoW game. Give me, hook me up here, and I'll hook you up there. That could be a thing that happens.
Yeah. Allure for real, that's great. 1-800-JOHN-GOLD.
I am not the person to turn to for making money in Classic. I'm not the person to turn to for making money in Current. I'm not the person to turn to for making money in real life. Do not come to me for any money-making tips.
Besides, everybody knows that in Classic, the best way to make money is to make savory delights.
Yep, just savory delights for days. Actually,
Yep.
Man, I remember making a ton of savory delights.
I know, right?
Why did I do that? Was that a good way to make money?
Well, it's because, people who didn't have the recipe wanted to transform into a skeleton.
Oh, that's right. That's what it
something.
was. I was like, I
Yeah.
made a shitload of those. Why? Okay, that's it. That's what it was.
Yeah, exactly. And think about it too. The alliance couldn't be any sort of like undead thing. So again, they wanted to be a skeleton. That's the only thing I remember that it turns into. So I'm gonna bank on that.
Just savory delights for days.
Yeah, exactly. Because everybody wants to be a skeleton, John.
That's right. That's right. They do.
Yeah.
They know.
Exactly. Well, John, it's been fun talking about WoW's influences and then completely shifting targets and just reminiscing in an odd way about Classic.
Yeah, we said we weren't gonna ever be a WoW Classic podcast, but geez, we got there, I guess.
Yeah,
Not in a traditional way.
No, I mean not even in the modern way. But anyways, I know that you had a little nappy poo earlier, and I'm glad that you were able to actually wake up and join me on this wonderful episode of Azeroth Roundtable. Until next time, though, where can people find you?
Well, if you want to hear more from me, you can follow me on Twitter. I'll let you know where I'll be. That's at John_Jagger. I also do a couple other podcasts I should tell you about. The first one is a podcast all about video games. It's a show called Core.
Core!
And Core is a fantastic show, again, about video games. This last one, hold on. I feel like he did such a good job. I'm going to give a shout out to a Twitter follower who I think did a great job summarizing the last episode of Core. So
I saw that tweet.
So at Porto Johnny said, this week on Core Pod, Bo Schwartz gives new, fresh insight on the store exclusives debate. John Jagger tells an amusing, rage-inducing story about his time in Mortal Kombat 11, and Scott Johnson reminisces about paying a kid to suck a pregnant dog's boob. Quality podcasting, guys. So if you
It really is.
if you want to hear more of that, that is a place you can go, and that is a thing you can do. I also play Dungeons and Dragons, Ben.
You do.
I'm a D&D player, and one of those games we record and we put on the internet for people to enjoy. We took last week off, but we are back this week in what can only be described as a thing I'm very excited for and terrified of all at the same time. And that is tomorrow, Saturday, at 2 p.m. Pacific. That's the return of There Will Be Dungeons, and I hope you'll all check it out. But if you don't know what that is, ThereWillBeDungeons.com has all our episodes. We've done 2 new episodes since the start of what is our second year. It's a good jumping on point if you want to be somewhat relevant. It doesn't catch you up 100%, but it is kind of a new, fresh journey. So it's not a bad place to start, but it goes places quick.
And sometimes the player characters learn stuff at the same exact time as the audience does too. It's like, oh, I know this person. Okay, because it happened.
Yeah. So it's a thing. We're gonna see how it goes. But There Will Be Dungeons, ThereWillBeDungeons.com. Check it out. It's a lot of fun. Ben, where can people find you?
The best place to find me actually is on Twitter. I have a Twitter profile, and that is at Ben Bumhofer. I did it right this time again. Other than that,
for you.
I know. Other than that, I also play D&D. However, it's not recorded or broadcasted or in any way anything else. We just do that for fun.
We'll do that on Saturday.
Exactly.
Tomorrow.
You get to have double D&D.
Double D&D.
Yeah.
I am sad nobody gets to know the joys of my character there, but
I'm a little sad that nobody gets to know the joys of just the story overall, because I have a lot of fun doing that one.
It's a good time.
Anyway, well, I mean, the thing is sometimes you can hear stories about that game in a show called Box Fort. I do that with Aludra. We actually talk about, video games, D&D, movies, whatever the hell we really feel like, honestly. Our official episode number 1 is up on boxfortshow.com. You can always check that out. Also, John, I have something in the works that I'm not going to tell anybody about.
Oh. Well, text it, because I want to be somebody that knows.
Or I'll tell you after we're done streaming.
Hey.
Yeah. But I actually do stream, even though the last 2 weeks I haven't because of life. You can always find me on twitch.tv/Ben Baumhofer. I've been playing through The Last of Us. There is a wonderful segment that I also do called Ben versus Never, where Nevermore and I play games together. And we've been working on our amiibo collection so that we can unlock some really awesome costumes for Yoshi's Crafted World. And that game is so freaking adorable and awesome. But other than that, you can always find those after the fact on YouTube. You just have to search for Ben Baumhofer because I'm still not cool enough to have a YouTube link. But this show, Azeroth Roundtable, you can find us on Twitter. We are at AzerothRT. If you have any questions, comments, want to tell us about things that you think were influenced by WoW in other games and whatnot, you can send those to AzerothRoundtable@gmail.com. We also stream every Friday night, generally at 8 p.m. Pacific. Make sure to check out twitch.tv/AzerothRT. And of course, all of our episodes are found on our website, AzerothRoundtable.com, as well as on iTunes, TuneIn, Spotify, Google Play, all those fun places.
Hey, this show was brought to you by the people who supported us at patreon.com/AzerothRT. I'd like to give them a shout out, especially those in the Murloc Club: Brandon O, Caleb M, Jesse O, Jim G, Haster, Sash, and Aaron. Thank you so much for being a part of the Murloc Club, and thank you to all the patrons who support us at patreon.com/AzerothRT.
Yeah.
We did it.
So with that, John, this was a fun episode.
Yeah, it was a good time.
I
Trip
enjoyed it.
down
Thanks for
memory
joining.
lane. Oh, hey,
Thank you
I'm
very
glad
much
I
for
could be
waking up.
here after a nap.
Yeah.
Needed the nap, but
it is tradition for you to have a nap before the show.
it's true. Happens a lot. More than you'd think.
Exactly. So until next time, chat room, you guys have been great. John, again, always a pleasure. And everybody else, be good to each other.
Bye, everybody.